where shopping costs you an arm and a leg.
Shopping Mall I have seen several times before. Um, it's it's one of those movies where I think it was on the boundary of worrying that maybe too many people had seen it to make it worth playing, but I don't think that many people had. Maybe it was just more familiar to me because I had seen it much earlier on. Um, there's remarkably no chopping in Shopping Mall, and in fact, the movie was originally called Killbots, I believe. Yes, Killbots. And I guess it was heavily edited. When it was first rolled out, it did not test well. And I guess they cut out like nearly 20 minutes of it. And the movie clocks in at an hour and 17 minutes. But I think it's a highly entertaining hour and 17 minutes. And it's an hour and 17 minutes that makes me curious as to what, or maybe hour 14. Yeah, around 20 minutes was cut.
Gotta do math.
Okay.
It'd take a while.
Okay, no, hour and 16 minutes is what it was. It's 76-minute movie, and I think it was 76 minutes that we saw. It was there might be a few versions floating around. I guess there was like a television edit also, which sounds stupid to me. That couldn't have looked very good, but it's about very unconvincing security robots being placed in a mall, and they're meant only to not disable, but I guess temporarily hold people. The presentation they show from the tech company rolling out these 3 killbots that they were going to set loose in this mall were explaining that they use non-lethal force, and yet just the same, the robots have like the ability to shoot deadly lasers and things like that, which you think they would just not put that functionality in on the robots if they didn't want to make them deadly. But there's some kind of electrical storm, there's lightning, which I guess kind of causes the central motherboard to fry out, and then the killbots are on the loose and they're deranged and they're going to murder everybody, and they're supposed to be neutralized when employees show their badges, but it's just not working, and they ask to see the ID, but then they start killing people, and they right away start by killing a janitor who's wiping up the floor after the electrical storm, asks for his ID, and then just kills him on the spot by electrocuting him. It sends out like a little taser, but there's a spill on the floor, and then when it starts electrocuting, it just zaps the shit out of the guy entirely. So you're talking high voltage potential too that they didn't necessarily have to build into the robots, but what can you do? And the real protagonists of the film are a bunch of teens who decide that they're going to have a sleepover in the store in the mall that the one guy's father owns and that they work at, because they want to do some drinking, they want to do some fucking. So you have a little bit of the shades of that kind of like slasher film storyline where it's like the fuckers are going to get killed, and then you have the nerd character who meets the lady and they make out a little bit, but they're not doing the fucking. They're kind of like socially awkward and just finding their feet and like learning to trust one another and stuff like. So they're going to survive. The other fuckers are going to die.
Yeah,
and they have to go all Rambo, and they break into a gun store and start loading up shotguns and shit. And
gun store in the mall.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And they break the glass on the gun store, and apparently there's no. I mean, I would think even in '86 there would be alarms for that kind of thing, but not in this place, especially when you're talking a store that carries heavy artillery. Now they're just able to break glass and load up and they go out machine gunning, and yeah, but it's a good time. I thought this one was well paced. I thought it was well done. Again, like the idea of taking these robots seriously was a bit of a stretch. They move kind of slow, but
They were real life, though.
but I mean, look at Daleks from Doctor Who. They were never convincing either. They just could roll in like a straight line, and they were slow, and they spoke in those silly voices. And they weren't supposed to be funny. I'm not sure to what degree Chopping Mall was supposed to be funny.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.